morning, leopards, and welcome to the week of September 12th, our first full week of school. I am so excited to have 5 full days of school this week. Now, all month and into next month, we are going to really be concentrating and focusing on teaching and practicing and setting our expectations throughout the whole building and on the playground. We have different areas. Your classroom, you have a set of expectations that your classroom does so that your class can run and function and learn all together. But some of the areas, we have all of our students, all of our staff, and so that takes even more practice because we have 360 students here, about 50 staff members. That's over 400 people that have to come together and really know what does it mean to be like a leopard, and that we have lots of time to practice and review and be noticed and spotted for being like a leopard. Now, we follow our 4 core expectations: respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. Your teachers might use a sheet like this that takes an area and really breaks it down, or they might even take just one thing, like when you move from your desk to the line, what does it look like? Because all of these transitions really take us a lot to learn and to practice. So we're going to break it down. It's not just like line up, because that might look different to some people. So we're going to make sure it's really clear. What does line up look like? What does it look like when you leave your desk? What does it look like when you're moving to there? What does it look like while you're waiting? What does it look like as you start moving? So a lot of learning. So we're going to keep practicing. Last week, I asked you to really focus on your lines in the hallway. I want us to keep practicing. I noticed so many great lines. In fact, I took some pictures and sent some to teachers. I want to capture you showing what it means to be like a leopard in the hallway. You're going past learning spaces, so it's extra important that your line stays silent and that your hands and feet stay to yourself and eyes looking forward. I think that's the biggest one that I catch kids. I have to keep kind of turning, reminding you, keep looking forward. Because when you don't look forward, sometimes that line starts and then there's a big gap. And then your teacher needs to stop the front, slow everything down, and then we don't have a quick transition. So kids, practice the expectation. What does it look like when you are lining up, when you are moving in line? What happens when you get to your place before you're ready to go in? The next place I'd like us to practice is in the lunchroom. Now, we have 2 whole grade levels at a time in the lunchroom. So we have quite a few kids, well over 100 students that all need to show they're like a leopard in this setting. So when you're thinking of in the lunchroom, what does it mean to be respectful, responsible, safe, and kind? We know that we bring our blue buckets down at recess, set them by where you line up so that when kids come in, if you brought a cold lunch, a lunch from home, you'll grab it from your blue bucket, find your seat. Hot lunch kids, those who are buying lunch at school, you'll go through the line, see Miss Rena, say thank you, and then find your seat. It's important that when we are at our table, we stay seated. And it's really important. This last week, I had to really talk to, especially, I'm going to say it, 1st and 2nd graders about voice volume. So let's go over before lunch, what kind of voice volume do you use? On that voice volume chart, it will be a 1, 2, or 3. Silent if somebody's talking. 2, maybe it's a really quiet whisper. Or 3, a conversation voice. We need to keep our voices down because we have so many of us in the lunchroom so that you can hear if your attention is needed. Now, at the end, Miss Nancy will place the cones. Kids, you don't touch those cones. Those are only your signal that it's time that you may clean up. But you don't play with that cone. Leave it on the table where it's set. Once the cone is set, you know, finish eating, go recycle, go clean up, and then return to your seat. We are not lining up at this time. When teachers show up, and teachers, they're working really hard to be right on time. And the first teacher that shows up, then someone will signal, they'll call your class and give directions. Follow directions quickly. If you're asked to, if you're in, say it's Mrs. D'Ambrosi's class, and you're said, Mrs. D'Ambrosi's class, please raise your hand, follow that direction. Mrs. D'Ambrosi's class, please point to your teacher, follow that direction. Mrs. D'Ambrosi's class may line up with their teacher. So follow directions quickly so that it can move to the next group. Be like a leopard. That's respectful of your whole community. Now, the very last thing I need you to review, I'm giving you the overview, but you guys dig in, really talk about what does that mean? How are you going to do that? What's it look like? End of the day. I don't know, many of you might not be aware, but at the end of the day, some students go home on a bus. Some students get picked up by their family here at the front. Now, the hard thing is parents come at different times to line up. And we don't know if it's going to be a fifth grader at the front of the line or a kindergartner at the front of the line. And that line doesn't move until that student's in that car. So every student who is a family pickup at the end of the day needs to be down to your pickup spot and leaving class at 2:25. That's 5 minutes earlier. Kindergartners, you guys all start heading out at that time because your teacher will help get you there. First graders, same with you because you get to be first on the buses. But every other grade level also, only parent pickup. Please send your kids at 2:25 so we can start that line rolling. That way, we get those parents with their kids, they start heading off, and we don't have staff who are out there until sometimes close to 3 o'clock doing our parent pickup. So with that, hallways, Lacamas Leopards, show us what you know. Let's practice in our hallways. Lunchtime, really on that voice volume, staying in your spot. And last, anyone who is parent pickup, please make sure you come down, you're ready at 2:25. That's 5 minutes before those bus kids go. Lacamas Leopards, it's going to be a great week. We keep practicing, so we're like a leopard, being respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. Have a great day.